On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Did you not make the adjustment and start moving differently around this dude?
Yeah, because
Yo, Gino, get on back here. This is a perfect opportunity for you to learn. This is a teachable moment.
But also, Tawana, at the same time,
he demanded it.
He wasn't lazy either, right? To the point I was also making.
But he demanded it. You know, he made it very clear what my role was in the house and what he expected.
I mentioned earlier, communication, right?
Yes,
communication, expectations, and you put in the effort.
That's right. I did. You're right.
He better not, hold on, bro. He better not be using the toilet sitting down. That's all I know. He better not be. He better not be using that toilet sitting down. I'm not playing, bro. If that's it, then we can cut this podcast short. I'm not having it, bro.
If you're just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef, Let's Talk. Let's get them likes up. Moving on to our second topic, which is who's to blame for women not having to put the work in? Who's to blame for the women not having to put the work in? You understand that, Tawana?
What don't we put the work in? I'm trying to figure out what you mean by that. What don't we put the work in?
You know, the work.
No,
somebody's at fault. Somebody's at fault because these women feel like they're entitled. They feel privileged. They feel like they don't have to do a damn thing. They just feel like, hey, I'm a woman and you just got to do as I like. Who's at fault for that?
You should start with Gino. Let's get his assessment.
We're going to start with Anton.
Now, go ahead, Gino.
I don't necessarily see a lot of women that's not putting in work. I mean, the women I know, man, I know
he was gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got their own, and all they really looking for is that extra piece, the gap, you know, own place, own, you know, automobile, you know, savings, stocks, all of that, you know. So it seems like this day and age, you know, women have been taught to be independent, and you know, they're just looking for that final piece.
Gino, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, but next, let's see if you can save them.
Hey, you know, I only speak for myself.
Who's to blame? Who's to blame for a woman not having to put the work in, Nix?
It's about the woman. The woman is responsible for what she's invests into the relationship. If you can't put in the work, it's your loss. And don't expect to meet the outcome of being able to sustain a relationship, keep the man you want, and to walk across that aisle. If you don't show the willingness and the effort to put in the work, then you know what? It's ultimately on the woman if they don't put in the work. So I'm looking at this, that it's up to the woman to be able to put in the work. So they're to blame.
The women are to blame. Tawana, I'm gonna ask you two questions because you are a woman.
Yeah.
Do you feel like women put work in?
Into a relationship, or are you just saying that are we accountable?
I mean, just in general.
Are we accountable for what we do? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I feel like women lack accountability in a lot of ways. I do think that a lot of it starts with people supporting bad behavior and people supporting women doing certain things. Because if you continue to support that, then it's going to, you know, be seen as normalized, and women are going to continue to do it. I think that that's part of the reason why a lot of women don't take accountability, because if I'm showing my tail on social media, my daddy gonna call me, my uncles, Anton probably gonna call me, Jay, y'all all gonna call me probably and be like, and what the hell is wrong with you? But some men like these people post, they follow these women, they glorify it, they support all of this behavior.
They call simps, Tawana. I'm gonna give you the name for it.
Well, I got a question though.
And then they say, well, then they say women aren't accountable, but why you're not holding them accountable? And then all these men who have all these negative emotions, that triggers negative emotions in women. So if you want,
men, you said emotional men.
I said negative emotion. Because women, we're naturally emotional. It's our biology. Women can deny it or not. It is our so even when Anton be like, you emotional, I'll be like, so what? I'm a woman. I should be emotional. That's part of who I am. That's my DNA. But those types of things trigger. If you're negative toward women, you're gonna hit a brick wall.
But the thing that you're not adding to that conversation, Tawana, the thing that you're not adding to the conversation is though, regardless of how I come at you,
yeah,
you eventually listen and be like, you know what, I hear you, Anton, or I hear you, Jared, or whatever. Yeah. And you take into consideration what we saying because you know that we got your best interest at heart.
But that's because you're always when someone doesn't have control, Anton, though, you can see that their respect level changes for you. And then when their respect level change for you, your respect level as a woman, you're gonna change. So you always maintain your same level of tone with, you always maintain your level of confidence, and that's important. So yeah, if you guys reward bad behavior, women are never going to take accountability ever. And
when you say bad behavior, what's bad behavior?
No, hold on.
I just told you.
Hold on, next. I'm coming to you next.
And if you don't talk to us with a little bit of compassion, with a little sense, we're not going to respect you, and we're not going to. You have to tell us what we're doing wrong, but you can't come at us negatively or disrespectful. You have to learn how to communicate with women. And I'm sorry, that's why a lot of women don't take accountability. When I do something wrong, the men who come to me in my life, they treat me with respect and they tell me exactly what I did and I can correct my behavior. A lot of women don't have that, so that's part of it. So some men are to blame.
Well, it sounds like they need to get some professional help, Tawana, before they get in a relationship. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
go ahead, Nix. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Nix. What are you about to say?
You brought up a good point, and we talked about this a few shows back about accountability. And what trigger you gave me one of the key words. We talked about accountability, and we sat up here and we talked about partners holding each other accountable. And Anton, remember you said, what are you going to do? Beat people in order to hold them accountable? People are their own adults, right? So I still truly feel it's still a conversation, but the adults, if you're truly an adult, we just talked about how folks are 30 and above, it's your responsibility. Right. We're born all the time. I always say we're born with free will and intellect. Right. It is up to you as an individual. So since the question is talking about women, it is up to the woman to be able to put in the work. But the accountability piece, I think, is a good variable. Yeah. But I think that then now, do we hold people accountable? That's a slightly different question. But I think it's very relevant because it's like, do we hold people accountable? How do we go about doing that? But it has to be a level of responsibility that folks have within themselves to put in the work. I can't pull you across the finish line if you're not able to put in the work. We've seen that. We have friends and family that we try to say you need to put in the work. If you're not a willing participant, that's on you as an adult. Be a grown woman and hold yourself accountable as well.
Yeah, it's not to replace women's role in it, but it is to say why you get that, why, they don't have to put in.
When they're not putting in the work, though,
they don't have to put in work.
We're adults.
They're not
half-assing it.
Held accountable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just what happens, unfortunately.
So it kind of sounds like you guys are talking about women that's in relationships, right? Is that what you guys are talking about?
You could be single women.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really put it in the context. I was just talking about staying.
It's impossible to address every scenario and every type of woman and even define bad behavior or define any of these things. But it's all subjective. But you have to just listen to the entire, I guess you need someone in your life who's holding you accountable. And then you need people to stop supporting certain behavior so that you can hold women accountable in certain areas, or you can make women want to put the work in those areas because they will see it's not easy to do. I mean, I guess if, all I got to do is post a sexy picture and it's like, oh, I'm going to get 1,000 men that's going to follow me, so.
Hey, what made me think about this, Tawana? The people know what type of work to put in, because somebody may feel they're putting in work and that is not, it does not meet the criteria. You do not meet the prereqs of what I define as putting in work.
Right.
Folks are lazy at the same time. So I think we try to couch this as something that's not.
Listen, bro.
women move a certain type of way around a certain type of guy. In the sense that when B-Nick said accountability, holding women accountable, I don't have to hold women accountable because I am the prize, which means that when women come around me, they move differently than they would move around a simp. One of the reasons why women are moving a certain type of way is because there's more simps than there are real dudes. There's more simps than there are guys that's actually red pilled. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. The point that comes back down to it is that when you have people that say, well, women is just looking for a guy to complete them, then you talking about a certain type of guy and they looking for an ultra beta male. They're looking for the ultimate beta male. They're not looking for a guy that moves a certain type of way, because when you a high value man, you don't even require the same things that a beta male require. You don't even look at a woman for what she makes. You don't look at women for what she's accomplished in her lifetime. You're looking for a woman that operates a certain type of way, that really lives in her femininity, and that woman will naturally subject herself to whatever it is that you have for her when she finds you to be the highest of the highest guys. Because again, women are hypergamous, which means that women date up and men date down. So when you're talking about a certain type of guy, that guy is not necessarily looking for a woman to complete him. He's already moving in his purpose. He's already moving in a certain type of direction. And the woman that comes into his life is not based off of this criteria that ultra beta males look at. They're not looking for this thing. So when you're talking about women that's unwilling to do the work, they're not doing the work because they're so comfortable with all of these beta men that's validating them that they don't even want. And then you wind up with a circumstance where you have all of these single women that's all in these forums and all on the internet, and they all on these comments, and they talking about, I can't find the right type of guy. Is because so many simps validated you and gave you this thing in your mind that you felt like you was doing so awesome, but you achieved all of the wrong goals as it relates to a relationship. And now the one thing that you need to complete you, which is natural to you, because you operating unnaturally, trying to be like a man. We don't want competition in our homes. We want peace. We want serenity. We want a sandwich, and we want you to shut up when it's time to be quiet so that we can enjoy ourselves, because we've been out in the streets all day fighting to ensure that we got everything that we need in order for you to live the life and be the best version of yourself. So when you're talking and you having this conversation, you have to separate it. It's two type of guys. There's one that enable women with bad behavior through their actions, and it's another type of guy that don't even have to subject themselves to that certain type of level of woman, because he already know that a woman gonna move a certain type of way when she get around him. It's a completely different narrative.
I don't disagree with you, Anton. I feel like there's more than just two people. I always say that the world is not binary. It's always an either or. I don't know how to look at the world as far as black and white, because the world is not just one or the other. But the thing is, I do get your point about what you're saying, your presence, right? Whatever you want to subscribe, to the language that you want to use or philosophy, it is about the expectations that are set forth in the relationship. To me, you mentioned some things about just giving you peace or providing for comfort for you like that. To me, I still define that as putting in the work. I know you're stating that I shouldn't have to say that. It should be understood. But then I think that also goes back to the communication, not even accountability, but the communication of what the expectations are. Because whether you call them beta, alpha, simp, ultra, whatever, the thing is like if you got your mouth closed and you're not saying anything and you're not presenting what it is that you want out of who you're searching for, that is on you. But that's also on the woman as well, that, you know what, if they're not, because I say about laziness, right? There's a level of laziness.
You're talking about who you're searching for as far as the guy?
Say that again?
As far as the guys, his perspective? You're talking about if you got your
no, I was talking when I shifted to the lazy aspect, I talked about going back to the conversation about women putting in the work. That's the part where I was stating the lazy. I'm associating it with the woman being lazy about putting in the work. You mentioned some simple ideals, whether you realize it or not, about providing comfort, peace, quiet, and all that. I get that there's an expectation, but that means that still is on the woman that she didn't provide that. So she's not putting in the work. The work may vary based on the person, but still is up to the woman to be able to not be lazy. So the question asked about
be lazy as a relationship. What, B Nix? What do you mean?
I just said that.
Be lazy related to what though? What do I need you to not do as far as being lazy?
You stated 3 things, Anton, out of all that you mentioned. You mentioned about comfort, providing peace, and about what food or providing whatever, right? I forget the third.
Right.
Now, what if they don't provide that, right? Because I'm feeling that's putting in the work, right? Let's say they're not doing that, right?
But it's more work to make things chaotic in the household than it is to relax and live in your femininity.
But let's say they're not doing that. That's the thing. I said, for example, let's say they're not doing what you just said.
Because they have other needs.
Yeah,
and like they said, they don't.
But B Nix,
so that would
you're talking about a woman that's already in a situation. I'm talking about women.
It could go either way.
No. It's different than women that's already in a situation and women that's looking to get
let's
chosen
contextualize
that don't have a situation. So when you're talking about women that's looking to get chosen, if all they see is validation from simps every single day, validating their behavior, and then they believe that this is how I'm supposed to act with men, then we're talking about men enabling women, weak men that's enabling women to think a certain type of way through their behavior and validation. That's what I'm saying.
You mentioned something about the weak men. I can't say there's necessarily a blame, but there's plenty of men that do the good morning, beautiful, hey, sexy, just checking on you, and you define that as that simple. Hey, you just stated
and
that.
Those are cornballs because you need to be living in your purpose, but really being the best version of you instead of chasing women and sending DMs. That's cornballs, bro. We don't need dudes that's doing that. We need dudes that's being awesome and being great and stop spending their time chasing women. You need to be chasing chicks instead of chasing chicks.
I get that. I'm not in disagreement. I think that's the part that you're missing. I'm not trying to disagree with you. I'm just giving you another perspective. I'm not in disagreement at all.
I mean, I'm glad we're on the same page.
I don't think that it's necessarily just alpha or beta, but
Gino, what you laughing at?
What? Yeah, Gino, he laughing. He gonna take my love.
Gino, what you laughing at?
You good.
Hey, I'm not in disagreement with what Tawana or you talking about, Anton. Both of y'all, I feel on the right page. But if we're talking about putting in the work, for me, work means effort.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Gino is learning right now, so it's taking some time to penetrate him, and he's trying to figure it out. So he gonna figure it out. He gonna go back. He gonna watch the show. He gonna say, "Man, that dude Anton was really spitting the facts." And then I'm gonna make him a better version of himself.
Anton is the best.
The question itself was who's to blame, right?
I like that. I like where you going. Fake it.
So I hear you be next though.
You Playboy.
Hey, go ahead, Tawana.
I think sometimes the women are to blame, like you said, B Nix. Like I feel like women are accountable in certain ways, but like Anton said, you know, that feminist movement, it was a lot of men who supported things that were kind of like men hating, right? It was a lot of men who supported that. And so I don't call them simps. That's what Anton called them. But I say that there are men who, you know, don't understand.
Why you don't want to call them simps, Anton?
You call them simps.
I don't want to call them simps.
You got Anton, you do got a laundry list. You mentioned cornball.
I don't like to call people.
I haven't used cornball in years.
That way.
I haven't said cornball in years, but
I do think that there are men who are supporting that, right?
I don't care.
There's women who, you know,
I don't care.
You know, I was a single mom at one point, right? But did I just have men coming into their lives and making it seem like their dad was replaceable? You know, like he's just somebody that you can replace at any time. No, I didn't do that. You know, I made sure that I didn't put that in my children's, you know, I didn't want them to see that.
Let me ask you a question, Tawana.
But I think that,
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
When you got around a certain type of guy, whether it be a fiance that you with now or whatever in the dating process, did you not make the adjustment and start moving differently around this dude?
Yeah, because
Yo, Gino, get on back here. This is a perfect opportunity for you to learn. This is a teachable moment.
But also, Tawana, at the same time,
he demanded it.
He wasn't lazy either, right? To the point I was also making.
But he demanded it. You know, he made it very clear what my role was in the house and what he expected.
I mentioned earlier, communication, right?
Yes,
communication, expectations, and you put in the effort.
That's right. I did. You're right.
He better hold on, bro. He better not be using the toilet sitting down. That's all I know. He better not be. Johanna, he better not be using that toilet sitting down. I'm not playing. Bro. If that's it, then we can cut this podcast short. I'm not having it, bro.
That was quick.
I'm gonna mute myself, bro.
I don't care.
It's so funny.
Man, what happened? Why y'all stop spitting? What's up?
I know it got real quiet, right? It was like
on me.
I think you missed the the jump beforehand. So
Well, mute yourself, man. Time, what's going on?
Yeah, what he say? What he talking about?
I mean, he over there laughing. I don't, what's up?
I said that I don't want you. Better not be that in the background using the toilet sitting down. That's all I said.
You're lame, dude. That's all I got, man. Who are you?
Why am I lame? Because I don't want you using the toilet sitting down.
I mean, you that you would say that. That's you lame, dude. It's cool. It's
What?
cool.
You got up at the it's a teacher. Hold on, wait. Listen. For real. It's a teachable moment happening here. We trying to give you the game, and you walking away instead of holding your piss or whatever. You need to be sitting down learning something instead of walking away, going to use the bathroom or whatever you're doing.
Anton, let me ask you something. Why are you talking to me from the like an authoritative figure?
You don't look at me as an authoritative figure?
I'm saying that's how you acting. That's how you talking.
No, I'm asking why don't you look at me as an authoritative figure?
And the fact that you think it's a teachable moment.
JR.
So do you want to be a simp?
Man, that's your opinion. I can roll this.
It's all of our opinion, but I'm asking, do you want to be a simp?
Is this gonna be on YouTube?
Do you want to be a simp?
I'm saying I could always look at it, right? So what are you talking about?
Why are you not answering the question? Do you want to be a simp?
What are you talking about?
Do you want to be a simp?
Yeah, let's
all right, y'all. We're about to move on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I'm trying to unplug you from the matrix, and you talking as simp. You getting emotional. Why you getting? You know how you can tell you're emotional? Hold on, JR. Before we go to the next segment, because I want us to all be on the same page. Whenever you hear somebody that say,
we're never gonna be on the same page.
Whenever you hear somebody say, they'll overtalk you or they'll say, "Well, that's your opinion." Of course, it's my opinion. Like we all speaking, but from our perspective. But I don't want you to get emotional. You got to strengthen your argument and lower your tone. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't.
We'll get there. We're working on you. I got faith.
We'll work on you. See that?
I got faith in you, bro.
You talk. From a level of superiority. It's like you're not.
If you're just tuning in to Lapeef, let's talk. We're moving on to our third topic. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Right, let's cue it in. Our third topic is, let me turn this off right quick. What happened when we laugh? I got thrown off. See what y'all did. All right. Our third topic is women want to become men minus the responsibilities. Women want to become men minus the responsibilities. I see you over there laughing, Tawana, so I'm going to come right to you.
That question,
you agree or disagree?
So
why is it crazy? Explain. We want to know. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Women do not want to become men, okay? That is not true. I think that this feminist movement have confused y'all, and y'all think that women want to be men because they asked for equality in pay and all these other things that they asked for.
Lori Harvey.
White women started that movement, by the way. So let's just, let's put it in perspective here. But I think that what being confused independence with is being like, I don't want a man. But honestly, being independent has nothing to do with you not wanting a man. And I think that some women use that and say, I'm independent and I don't need no man. So a lot of men confuse that. Sometimes independent women just know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to make decisions for ourselves. we don't have a man in our life, so we have to learn how to do these things for ourselves. That has absolutely nothing to do with us wanting to become men. It's about,
really?
Yes, oh really. We have to adjust to this life and to this. I just don't agree with that statement at all, because a lot of the women who I know who have to be self-sufficient, take care of themselves, and step into those roles really still maintain their femininity, still want to date, still want to have fun, still want to do all these things. And it has absolutely nothing to do with us wanting to become men. I think it's the way men view, independence, and they view women who want to have a career, or women who don't want to be in a household, like who don't want to be domesticated. It's just the way you guys view it. But it doesn't mean that she's not agreeable and that she doesn't want to be in a relationship and she doesn't want to a man in her life, So no, I don't agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with you, Tawana.
Well,
we're gonna keep it moving though.
You don't have
Be next.
I don't care.
Yeah. Women want to become men minus the responsibilities. Your thoughts?
This made me think of just everything that's been going on right now, especially with the weather and everything. I know that, of course, the ongoing argument is, of course, equality in pay, equitable rights and things of that nature. But then also it's like we're equal. But then when it comes down to the kind of more intangibles of a man, if shoveling snow, right, you may say that, all right, we're equal, but it's like, I don't do snow. I don't fix cars. I don't do yard work. And all these other kind of like day-to-day things that even if you're a man, it's the expectation. So I do feel like there is an element of this where, nothing against women, but it is like more so kind of like you mentioned, the workplace. Yeah. Equal pay, things like that. Yeah. So then you can say like, oh yeah, whatever a man can do, a woman can do. But then it's like a woman would then say, well, this is what I don't do. I don't think a man has ever been placed into an opportunity to say, oh, this is what I don't do. It's like, it's just put forth. So whatever a woman can say, you can say that, hey, you know what? Hey, a man can do too. So that's some of the things I noticed that for a woman, for aspects of wanting to be a man, these are the other intangibles that comes along with to be a man that we noticed just during the weather alone these past few months. Women have said, these are the things I am not doing. And it's kind of non-negotiable. So I think there is an element of I don't like the term saying they want to become one. Like it makes me think like a sex change or something like that. But I think as far as just from the aspect of being peers, that there is a difference.
Sex change.
No, it says they want to become a man.
Like it.
So the question is, do women
I need to go to Dr.
Miami and
penis extension.
Yeah, just reading the question for what it is, verbatim. But I think there are women out there that like, yeah, we're equal until it comes down to these intangibles with a man that like, oh, why don't do that? So
it's some women who don't have a choice; they have to do it regardless. You don't know women who have to who have to shovel the snow. They don't have a man to do it, or you don't know women who have to do these things.
No, usually they just call somebody that's a man that they know on the block or around the neighborhood.
That's a lot because there's many.
Yeah, but we're talking about in generalizations though, right, Tawana? Because there are always outliers.
The women on my block, they out there shoveling the snow.
No, because my mama was an outlier.
I'm not saying not outliers. It's about the fact that some women have.
No, we can't. We know there are also us. So we could look at the other side of the coin, Tawana, that there are women that's like, these are the things I don't do. And they're very clear.
I don't do it, but also I feel I'm not shoveling snow. Why would I?
I mean, case in point, though. I mean, I'm not.
I never had to.
I know you're in a situation. Yeah, exactly. But
I never had to. But I also fulfill the needs that he wants. But so therefore,
those are not some of the responsibilities that comes along with being a man, though. So
I just don't. Well, I agree with some of the things you said. I just don't think that we want to be men. I don't agree with that. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to reframe it, but still stay true to the question. I'm not saying they're trying to become men, but there are aspects where you look at women that we're the same as men, but then it's these bucket list of categories of things that they're not going to do. So I think you can say there are women who do think like this.
I hear now. I kind of see the direction that the question's going in based on your response.
All right, Gino, coming to you.
I don't think everybody else think like me on the panel anyway. So go ahead.
Gino, coming to you. Women want to become men minus the responsibilities.
Well, I think, and this is one of the times I will agree with Anton. I think there's a lot of women that's been forced into the position of having to be responsible and be independent, where, you know, it's not a lot of men that are actually independent and able to take care of a woman, you know. So it's you know, I look at some of my family, it's like, you know, they're strong because they have to be. I don't think it's necessarily because they want to be, but when it comes to, you know, different things, like you say, shoveling or, you know, hanging a fan or, you know, other things that they're not necessarily capable of, that's when, you know, it shows, like, you know, just the limitations or whatever, you know. And like I say, it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of us in prison, you know, it's a lot of us that have been dead, you know, have been killed or whatever, you know, and it's just what it is, you know. So and when you think about it, you think about all of the women that's been, you know, because their moms dealt with whatever and they had to be independent. It's like they impress upon their daughters to be independent. You know what I mean? So I think it's more so, you know, women have to be. There's so many women that have to be, and, you know, it's gonna be certain responsibilities that, you know, they don't want to have to do all of that. You know, so that's my opinion or my take on it.
Anton, women want to become men minus the responsibilities.
Women don't know what they want, but they want what they think are the benefits of being a man without having to do or subject themselves to the things that men have to subject themselves to in order to be great. So, like, for example, it's almost like a lot of people that be online and they give you the game as far as like saying, yo, you can be rich too, or yo, I'm showing you this baller stuff for motivation, right? One of the things that I do on all of my channels is I give you the backstory as to what I had to do in order to get there. I show you all of the failures. I show you the headaches that I had to go through. I show you the fact that I'm up till 4 a.m. every single night grinding. But if you look at women, they want equality. They want all of the benefits that come along with being a man, as far as their ability to make decisions, the being the head of the household. They want to be partners in certain things and all of this stuff. But then they don't subject themselves to the same things that men go through. So if you look at the statistics, you can say that men built the country, right? On top of that, men are overwhelmingly the ones that get incarcerated. They're overwhelmingly the ones that die on jobs. All of these statistics that line up with the other side of having to be a man, right? If something happens in my household, regardless of who's working and who's not working or whatever, if something happens in my household, or let's just say I lose my crib or whatever like that, nobody is going to go to my chick and say, why didn't you work more hours, or why didn't you go to work, or why did you lose your job, or whatever the circumstance is. The responsibility ultimately falls on my shoulders. So with that being the case, you can't be an equal partner if you don't take equal responsibility. And a lot of these women, they have, I will give Tawana some credit in that there is a large majority of women that were raised in circumstances, or they had to be subjected to the idea of raising kids or taking on a household, and the dude just bailed off in the wind. So they had to take on both roles, right? But I'm talking about women that are empowered to make a decision and do the things that they want to do when they want to do it. They can choose to move a certain type of way, but then at the same time, they're going to complain about how they can't find a man of this value or whatever. But and then again, they don't subject themselves to the idea that women date up and men date down, right? When men are established and they're in a certain type of place, they're not looking for you to bring certain things to the table as far as finances and all of this other type of stuff. I'm already doing that. I've already subjected myself to the responsibility of everything that comes with being a provider, a protector, and all of these different things, right? I'm already enabling you to be the best version of yourself. Now, if you want that type of guy, that means you're going to have to go and find a weak man to emasculate or for him to subject himself to, but that's not the natural order of things. So when it comes back down to it again, women want the benefits of being a man without ever subjecting themselves to the things that men have to go through in order to be the man that he has to be. That's just real.
But you know what, Anton, you assuming that all men are alpha, and I'm gonna tell you right now that
we know that's not true.
That's definitely not the case.
We know that's not true.
A lot of women, even when they have men, they have to do things in the home because men are not capable. Okay, like you need a woman's income and you need a woman's input. You need her guidance.
That's because they were beta men.
But but there is beta men in the world, and so you have to speak to those too, because it's not like it's just.
I can't. I don't speak beta.
But you have to.
I don't speak Beta-nese.
You have to acknowledge.
I can't speak Beta-nese. That's not my culture.
I don't believe in that whole title. I don't believe in that whole title thing. But I'm telling you that women are with men who they have to do things because men are not capable.
No, Tawana, you got the verbiage right. You got the verbiage. Women are settling for men that are like this because they can't get that other type of guy.
I have friends who put up her own ceiling fan, and she has a man in the house. I have a friend. I have a friend who fixed her own plumbing. And she has a man in the house. So what I'm saying to you is that sometimes women don't. Every man is not always equipped with all these qualities that you're listing and saying.
But again, they're not choosing. Can I interject? They're settling for them. I
don't believe they're settling. I believe she's happy. They in 15-year marriages. They're in 12.
That don't mean that they're happy. I know people that does mean that they're happy. And as soon as the kid grew up, they got up out of there. That do not mean that they're happy.
That does mean.
That's not a measure of happiness, Tawana.
It's not a measure, but it also is. It does prove that the relationships can work and that they do function.
No,
it does prove that. Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
There's plenty of dysfunctional relationships. There's dysfunctional companies.
There's
dysfunctional everything.
But every alpha man is not having.
I'll tell you this.
I want to interject, JR.
The minute an opportunity comes for her to level up, don't think that she wouldn't take it. The minute that the opportunity, if she could do better, she would. But she is not that guy. Really? That is the thing. That's real talk.
Well, he checks other boxes. You know, maybe that's just one thing that they're.
Yeah, he subjects himself, and he sits down while he pees. He does all of those things. Like she don't ever have to worry about the toilet seat being up when she get up in the middle of the night. All of that, Tawana, that all makes sense.
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Anton, I hear what you're saying. I'm just looking at it from a different lens as far as the things that the variables of being a man that a woman doesn't have to experience. I feel like continuously always getting arrested, being viewed negatively. If you have issues with finances, that's always viewed as the man's responsibility to fix it. Even when you broke, you have to find a way. I feel like there's intangibles that a man must endure, like even complaining. Men, technically, we don't complain. It's just society would never accept a man complaining. It would never accept the fact that a man, every time you leave out your house, you know for a fact that you may not come back home, either being shot or arrested. This is something
what type of men are these? What type of men are these?
Chicago.
I never worry about getting shot or arrested when I leave the house, B-Nex.
Well, you don't live in Chicago.
I live in Detroit. What is you talking about?
Well,
a lot of men do though.
You gotta understand where I'm coming from, bro.
No, no, bro. No,
it is.
There's plenty of people every single day.
Anton, there's
plenty of people every single day that
I've been arrested with my kids with me, whether I did it or not. You have to give it up. These are things that men have to experience.
Wait. So you telling me every day you leave out the house, you worry that you may not come back, B-Nex? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God! Come on, B-Nex. Come on, B.
Y'all, have y'all gotten arrested with y'all kids multiple times in the car? Have y'all gotten arrested wrongful? Have y'all had people get arrested?
We know the story, B-Nex, but still, I don't believe
these are real stories, though.
I don't believe that when you leave
have you had
the
people that got shot
every day?
In Detroit, my brother got shot the day before Christmas at his mother-in-law house with his children the day on Christmas Eve. So don't sit up here and say that these aren't things that men don't experience. You being silly by acting like I'm capping. These are real stories.
Right. No. You're getting emotional.
No, it's not. These are stories.
No.
It's not emotional.
Because the thing is,
Anton,
no,
you have to hear what
you know
I'm
how
saying.
I know you being emotional? No, you know how I know you're being
Why?
emotional?
Because my brother almost got killed.
You're using your personal experience.
Because my brother almost got killed.
You're using your personal
real experiences, right?
I'm gonna let you get it out.
That's a real experience.
I am giving you
get it out.
experiences.
Okay, and when you get done,
let me talk, then you can respond.
Like one at a time. Go ahead, Nick.
There are real experiences that I have dealt with. I have friends of mine, family of mine that deal with every time we leave out the house. I get Detroit is bad too. It's a cousin of Chicago. But don't think for a fact, these are things that women, I just mentioned earlier, different variables that women do not have to endure that a man must endure, as far as being broke and having to find a way. Having to get arrested, knowing whether you're right or wrong, you're always going to be viewed as being guilty first. Those are things that are very real. And those are things that men carry with them every day. And it's not being emotional, Anton. I just want you to understand that there's another perspective that I have lived.
Right.
But you can't leave
Christmas Eve for something he didn't do. For me, I got arrested. I told you on this show a couple of weeks back that I got arrested and had my kids have to watch me get arrested, and they have to drive off in the car. And my wife.
So wait. So why'd you get arrested? Since you bringing this up, so why you get arrested?
I'm not going to talk about that on here.
Oh, you don't want to talk about that part? No,
you really want to know?
No. Because listen,
you really want to know?
Stop, yeah, I want to know. know.
Because somebody accused me of leaving my kids in the car, and I didn't. And the lady came in, and she wrote a fake report about me, stating what happened. The case got thrown out, but then guess what? Let me finish the story. You asked for it, I'm going to give it to you. So then guess what? Because I'm a black man with my kids.
What is that? What is that noise?
I was found as being negligent.
Gino, you probably should.
So because I was found as being negligent, I was guilty. And I had to go through the entire court process in order to then find out that the arresting officer wasn't the person who actually even wrote the report.
Okay, so here's the thing though, B-Nix. And the reason why I say you get emotional in
your arguments. Don't even call it that.
Why do you keep... No. Hold on, bro. Because if you want me to listen while you talk...
Talking generalizations. Just respect what I'm talking about, because this is a real story.
Let me finish what I'm saying before you jump out the window.
Use another word.
No, I don't. I'm not using another word. I'm not. Just because it don't make you comfortable... Just because it don't make you comfortable don't mean that I got to use another word. Again, my point is the reason why I feel like you're getting emotional in a conversation is because you're using your personal situation
and I led with that
to speak for a majority of men. And I'm saying that I can use myself as an example, but that does not mean that example is the overwhelming majority of men's experience.
Anton, you just said men being incarcerated. I'm giving you context.
As context, but that
didn't happen. That's what you're saying.
Oh my God.
A lot of men fear not returning home, Anton. I think you just have a different experience, and it's hard for you to
even the fact of men that's in military is treated differently versus women that's in military. Even though both men and women are allowed to go into military, we know for a fact that there are.
I agree with that, but that has nothing to do with what it is that you're saying and using your situation. In order to illustrate a point is my point.
No, that was my point that I was making. Those things that women have to deal with.
Situation, but it does not add additional context to this conversation and this subject, which is why I say that we have to not speak emotionally about our situation because it's not relevant to what we're talking about.
Anton, I don't think you even hear my story. That's the thing that I think you missed my entire story. You said up here.
So I've never heard the story, B-Nix? I haven't heard the story?
Not in this detail, you haven't. I don't think I gave it the detail like this before. What'd you say?
I mean,
I wish I had some more hats.
I kind of don't understand your point, Anton, because I feel like a lot of the topics we talk about, you have to incorporate your own experiences in order to
about how men have to deal with incarceration, Anton. So if you mention about incarceration, then I'm giving you another perspective that aligns with what you just said. And then now, since I gave it context, now you disagree with it?
Take off your
I'm not
costume. Take off your costume, Anton. You crazy.
No, because it's so
you
much.
just mentioned that there's more people that are men that are.
Like
I don't want to get it. I don't want to get infected
with something.
I don't want to get infected with emotion. I don't want to get infected.
It's not
with
emotion though.
So
that's the part that I don't understand what you're
I'm
talking
covering
about.
myself up because I want to make sure that I stay clean with this clean bill of health of greatness that does not allow me to get in my emotions whenever.
I'm just trying to figure out who told you as a man that you cannot have emotions. Like, I'm really trying to figure this out because this is really bothering me.
I didn't say you can't have emotions. I said you can't be. I said you can't. No. I said you can't. I can't. You can't use your emotions
for 2 minutes
when you're trying to be objective about a situation. You got to speak the facts.
I'm not being objective.
You got to speak based off of exactly what's really going on out here, and not just according to what your personal experience is.
Anton, people are dying.
One at a time. One at a time. One at a time. All right, next we're gonna come to you, and then we'll get a couple more rebuttals. Then we're gonna move on to the next topic. Go ahead, next.
People are dying and people are getting arrested. This was based on actually the point that you and Gino mentioned about the level of incarceration. And we know for a fact that there's more men that's being incarcerated, which led to the lack of men in the household because women aren't being incarcerated at the same rate. So now I give perspective stating that, you know what, since we mentioned it.
I agree with that, B. Nick.
You didn't let me finish.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with you on the fact of that the things that come along with being a man as far as incarceration and death and war and all these things. I said that in the very beginning. I'm saying that your personal situation does not add context to this conversation. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree because it was my point that I told you that I wanted to discuss. I didn't know that I got to vet my example with you first before I use it. That's weird. So I just wanted to say that you started it by disputing, saying that really you actually fearful whether you come back, because there have been times where guess what? I was supposed to come home and I didn't. Guess what? Something happened. And this happens every day. We hear about this time and time again. Until it happens to you, then you can't dispute what I'm saying. I know you're from Detroit. I get it. My folks live in Detroit. But I'm telling you, living in Chicago, if not the same animal, it's a beast. So don't say being a man.
You probably live in the suburbs.
Deal with.
You probably live in the suburb, don't you?
Why would I stay in the hood?
That's probably why you ain't.
Move on to the next topic, y'all. Move on to the next topic.